Thank you. Hi, everyone. I will try to be just as charming as Jessica. So I created the character of Daisy Bouquet 12 years ago at Bar Natasha when Missy Kuntz said, hey, I want a live singing female impersonation show. I had dabbled in drag. I went to college at the American Musical and Dramatic Academy in New York, completed the program, moved back to Kansas City because the program was really a training ground for people that were Broadway bound, and I knew that my place wasn't exactly on the Broadway stage. I didn't know what it was, but when I moved back, I started working at Bar Natasha, and I realized the cabaret scene was much more my interest. So I created Daisy, and then after Bar Natasha closed, I started a Sunday night show at Sidekick Saloon, Kansas City's premier gay country saloon. Yes, we have one. And gays, we have to have everything. So I was asked to host a Sunday night show, and it broke sales records at that bar. The Sunday night shows were so highly attended because at that time, I was presenting a drag show that was unlike the run-of-the-mill drag shows that were happening at the time. It was comedy, it was cabaret, it was clown acts. It wasn't just dancing queens lip-syncing for their lives. So at that time, I joined the Kinsey Six, America's favorite drag-a-pella beauty shop quartet, and I joined them in 2008. When I joined that group, because we tour all the time, that was when I tossed the hosting reins over to Dirty Dorothy. And I've been touring with the Kinsey Six now for 10 years this year. The Kinsey Six is, like I said, it's a drag a cappella quartet. We do full-on theatrical shows, a lot of political satire, and we push the boundaries when it comes to theater and comedy. I only want to touch on that just a little bit. We can get more into that with the Q&A because I figured as I'm two drag queens for a living here. Trampolina in the Kinsey Six is the other role that I play. She's fine. Daisy is the one that we need to explore a little bit more today. In terms of process and production, how long does it take you to get into drag? I give myself 2 hours, and that is cutting it close. 2 hours to shave, put on makeup, get the lashes on, get into the body, get into the costume, get into the hair, drive to the venue. I usually get ready at home because there is so much to prepare. Usually most shows, if I'm not hosting them, I'm doing 3 songs in a show. So I need 3 looks, 3 outfits. So I have to account for all of that time to get ready. And that is not just, the performance itself. So when people come to me and say, hey, I want you for this birthday event, how much do you charge? And then they go, wow. I go, well, you have to count for this, this, and this. Is there going to be a microphone? Is there a setup? Is there a sound system? Is there a PA? Do I need to bring an accompanist? Am I using backing tracks? I have all of these different things, but in turn, I'm willing to work with the client. I try to make myself as available as possible, which is, here's Trampolina, by the way, this bottom photo here, if you happen to tune into this season's The Gong Show on ABC, that is a screenshot from that, which I believe will be airing next Thursday, July 5th. And in turn, one of the things that I find to be an interesting complication is the balance between playing 2 drag queens. So my friends know that I'm also Trampolina in the Kinsey Six, but most people that know Daisy do not know that I play another drag queen. So they might tune in and see that and go, that looks like you, but that's not Daisy. And then I have to kind of explain, and we'll get into that a little bit more as well about how to blend the 2 lives. For marketing and selling, I provide my own solo cabaret shows. They're easy to transport to any venue. I've played in Puerto Vallarta. I did a college gig in Ohio back in January. And in August, I'll be back in Connecticut with a brunch show. Scotland. Well, I've done Scotland, but that was with the Kinsey Six, but it wasn't with Daisy. So, like I said, I'm recognized for my capability of being able to improvise and interact with the audiences, and that's what kind of keeps people coming back. I host the Friday night shows at Missy B's when I'm in town. That's what I tell people, because my tour schedule is so up in the air a lot, I don't know when I'm gonna be home. I do custom sets. Most recently, my biggest event that I recently did was through a friend of ours. His name is Chadwick Brooks. Got me in a gig where I hosted, emceed a private after party for the celebrities that were in town for the Big Slick tournament. So I was, singing Journey for David Cook from American Idol and Jason Sudeikis. One of the challenges I find is constantly, the question is, how do I increase my bookings as a self-producing artist? How do I grow my social media following at a quicker and more effective rate? And how do I keep the momentum going? Especially since this last spring, I released my solo debut album under the name of Daisy Bouquet, called Pansy. Copies available after the Q&A today. So I released an album, and it was recorded here in Kansas City with local Kansas City musicians. And one of the things that I enjoyed the most was that I got to work with a lot of people that I don't normally get to work with. And it's not that we don't want to work together, it's that our schedules are always so different. I have worked with non-exclusive agents before. One of the things that I'm curious to find out is, should I be looking into a more exclusive agent? And also, as you've said too, it's referrals. My business is based on word of mouth. If I do an event somewhere, somebody will see me, they'll come to me afterwards, I'll give them my information, and then I've got another gig coming down the pipeline from that. That's exactly why I'm doing a brunch event in Connecticut in August, because I worked with them last year in October, and they wanted me back. I'm gonna play you a clip from my album. How about that? Let's see if I can make it work. So this is one of the first songs that I ever sang at Bar Natasha, and I recorded it with Aaron McGrain and Jeff Freeling of Victor and Penny, local duo act. This is a little clip from that. So one of the things about that clip, aside from the fact that it was Paris Hilton's only hit, is that I did all the vocals on that. I did the harmonies as well. Yeah, multi-talented. I won't play you the other clip. We'll go into goals here. So my goal here is more increased income and lowered expenses. The more exposure I get, the higher the upkeep becomes. Wig maintenance, makeup, costumes. People don't want to see the drag queen in the same dress every night. And also getting more word of mouth, how to get outside of the Kansas City community more. I do that with the Kinsey Six, but also how to increase my exposure, thereby getting more gigs. This piece here, I do pretty well on social media, but it's still, I didn't go to school for social media. I don't think hardly any of us in this room did. It wasn't a class back when social media wasn't a thing when I was in school. And now it's one of the main things to keep a solo artist alive. So I have been taking Facebook's blueprint courses for businesses that have Facebook pages to learn more about how to utilize spending for ads and targeting audiences. And that's my presentation.
At least you have a website.
Yeah, at least I have a website. Jesus, Jessica.
Maybe you could get some revenue by renting her web pages on your website.
Yeah, we could.
Working with the The marketing and exposure aspect, have you talked to either cities or organizations or even bars for like regular, pride appearances and things like that? So to have like a stable presence where not only you get that exposure year to year, but also a lot of people who are coming in for those events will see you or the Kinsey Six if that's what you want to like expand that into.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of, I don't do a lot of door-to-door kind of marketing for myself. I don't do a lot of reaching out to different venues. It's risky. It's risky for them and it's risky for me. So what I usually recommend is if I know somebody that's in a town that knows of a place, I have them put in the word of mouth for me, and then the venue will reach out to me. Yeah, it's very touchy. I can sell myself, but it's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to come see a show with a live singing drag queen. Some of them just want the RuPaul drag queen to come out and kick and scream and death drop on the floor. I don't do that. I offer a little more substance. And so I can do nightclubs, I can do cabaret venues, but bar settings are generally very touchy. I did a gig in Iowa once, and I was never back there because they were so adamantly against a singing drag queen, which when I started, I was one of the few singing drag impersonators in town. And now we have such a diverse drag community. We've got every style of drag. And a lot of that is to thank for Jessica for being able to have that variety to offer people.
I have a question. I was poking around on Facebook and I saw, it came up during Jessica's talk as well, that she has a separate Dirty Dorothy as a public figure, but it's her real name is her Facebook person. But I saw Daisy is both a public figure and a person. Do you try to maintain both of those social media things and do you differentiate them? Because I assume you also have a personal, a Spencer Facebook, a Daisy Facebook, and a Daisy page.
Yeah, I have a Spencer page, I have a Spencer profile, I have a Daisy profile, I have a Daisy page, I have a Trampolina profile, I have the Kinsey Six page. And I also run a lot of the Kinsey Six's social media as well. And that includes Twitter and Instagram. And oh my God, I feel like 90% of my life is absorbed by social media. Now, I do more with the personal profile of Daisy Bouquet because that's where I can shoot things out into the interwebs to comment on everyday life. With the page, I usually keep it more for look forward to this coming out this spring or find me in this town next. It's a little more of, it's less personal, and also Facebook kind of rules that world of you pay to play in the terms of being an artist. So if you want to be seen, you're going to want to boost that post for $25 to this demographic. So that's why I'm fortunate that the Facebook gods didn't come for Daisy's personal profile when they were having a mass exodus of fake people. But yeah, I use all of it.
Do you use a platform where you can publish on all of them at one time?
I dabbled with Hootsuite for a hot minute. But then I came to find out that it was just easier to log into the individual platforms, and that tends to get more exposure anyway. And there's so many differences. Like, I'm now more into Instagram with my business than I am with a Facebook page, because people want to see a pretty picture of a drag queen with something funny, and then you hashtag it to death, and then they like it.
Yeah, and then photos come from Instagram, Facebook, actually.
Yeah, and I have that tied together, so it usually posts to Facebook, but people won't see it on Facebook if I don't boost it. But you know, it's kind of a, where do I want to sink my money into to see some sort of something come back?
To that end, are you also utilizing your Instagram stories? My understanding from that is there's been a big shift in how people are using it, and now they're going to the Instagram stories first before they go to the feed. So, what
Yeah.
are you doing here?
Great question. The Instagram story was one thing that I was kind of avoiding for a while, and only over the last couple of months have I been playing with the Instagram story more. And really that is more, I have to be, well, I should step back for a second, because I changed my Instagram handle only in the last year. My friend from New York, who dabbles in social media and marketing, he said, "You've got pictures of Spencer all over your Instagram. Get rid of them. Just make it Daisy." And I was like, "But I like these pictures. These are my memories." He said, "Well, you can archive them. Nobody will see them. They'll still live in your Instagram. And then they just see all Daisy." And I was like, "Oh, that's better for marketing, isn't it?" So I started doing that. So in Instagram stories, I thought, well, I can still show Spencer sometimes. I did an Instagram story with Jessica just this morning before this presentation. But I did one last night. We had a show last night at Missy B's, and I did a little boomerang video of Daisy twirling in a dress. And, you know, 300 people have viewed it since I last saw, whereas a picture that I posted yesterday has gotten 100 likes. So yeah, Instagram stories are a new frontier, and it's also a way that I've also been sort of telling people about upcoming shows. I'll tag myself and say, "Hey, Friday night, here I am at Missy B's," you know.
First, I'd like to say sorry about your experience in Iowa. I went to school in Iowa College at Simpson, and they actually had like an amateur drag show that they did every year. So, I mean, it's not as bad as it was everywhere.
Oh, I don't think Iowa was bad. It was just the club.
I'm from here, so, but, and then back to business. So you said that maybe not bars, but galas and things like that. Do you have a prospecting plan or anything like that to move forward with that type of stuff, to get into those type of places?
No. I could say I'm failing. But no, I mean, it really has been it's been a snowball effect. I didn't think I would be doing Daisy today when I started her 12 years ago at Bar Natasha. It was just one thing that I thought this will be a second source of income. I was working in the box office at the new theater restaurant at the time. What a job. But, you know, I did a few years ago, the former artistic director of the Heartland Men's Chorus, Joe Nadeau, who is now the artistic director for the LA Men's Chorus, he hired me to MC a holiday program for their gala event. Gala is a gay men's chorus convention that happens every 4 years. And there are probably about 6,000 people in attendance. And I emceed that event. And from emceeing one concert, I had two chorus groups come up to me after the show. And in turn, I got the Kinsey Six a booking because they wanted them for their summer concert the following year. So it's just word of mouth. There's no, I don't have a game plan set to say, oh, this event's coming up, how can I work my way into being involved? Yeah, does that kind of answer your question? Yeah.
Can we flip to either goals or challenges would be good?
Goals, so many goals. I never played soccer. Yeah.
Does Daisy have a particular line of business that is more profitable than the others?
So does Daisy want to spend the next 15 years doing stage shows, small and large, or does Daisy want to spend the next 15 years being the premier MC for lighthearted events? What is it that's most profitable to you? And are you comfortable with really, because that's part of your brand. And you had asked the question about the agent earlier. That answer depends on who Daisy wants to be, what Daisy wants to concentrate on. Because those are two very different things, even though they live in the same world. When you really come down to supporting your life and saving for your future, you might need to make a call and then go after it. Do you know what's more profitable for you?
I do know what's more profitable, but it's interesting. So the more profitable thing is my solo cabaret shows. But I can't do those every single week, every month, because once I've done it somewhere, they've seen it. So then I have to come up with a new show. And that's also a challenge that we have to do with the Kinsey Six. We go to the same venues every year, but we have to offer something different every time we go back. So yeah, my more profitable one is to do a solo show, a cabaret. But then I have to work twice as hard to sell that one show to make it as profitable as possible. And then I can't do it again for maybe 4 months.
So is your value proposition then what makes you different from all the other people who do what you do? Is it that you are so quick on your feet and you can provide a level of interaction with the crowd no one else can match? What makes you different and stand out from all my other choices if I'm hiring for that?
Oh, that's nice.
And if you don't know the answer to that yet, that's where this all begins, is figuring that out.
Most people that are hiring me, nobody's going to say, hey, I want you for your solo show. That is maybe 5% of the time. The brunch show that I'll be doing in Connecticut is me, just me doing my own show. Which, because they've seen me before and they know it's a different venue, I can do the same show. But most people that come to me will say, I want you for this. We have this in mind. What can you do? And I can immediately say, I can do that. Do you need me to lip sync? Sure, I will lip sync for my life. But I will tell you where I've done enough events and enough performances that I can tell you what if you tell me what your event is and how many people, is it business casual, are they in jeans, is it a bachelorette party, I can say, well, I think this will work best if I present this much material, we do this bit with the audience. I can cater it.
You don't want every customer.
Not exactly. You're right. Debbie Reynolds once said, never say no to work, but she's dead. And I have turned down some things. And I've said yes to some things that I should have turned down. And sometimes there's the paycheck at the end of the road and I go, well, at least there was that. But at the same time, you leave with kind of a gross feeling. It's like, oh, I don't want to do that.
So, listening to you and to Jessica, I remember way back when the Birds and Rosemary's Baby and all that stuff. Big fan. So, two things came to mind. Priscilla Queen of the Desert, Keeping Up Appearances. Or is that, maybe I'm on the wrong show.
No, you're definitely on the right show.
So, I keep seeing in my mind a show, and it might be something that is just on the road this year. Hyacinth and Rose joins you for a comedy night, a comedy drag, something like that. The same like with Jessica with having other cities being kind of another Dirty Dorothy's. Not another Daisy, but maybe it's something different that's just a one-time thing an event. And it might be copyright stuff that you have to worry about on that one, but you know, I just, for some reason, I'm thinking, I see you know, Golden Girl kind of situation, or the bucket sister, excuse me, okay. You know, so has that ever popped up? Because I mean, I know you do two things now with Mackenzie 6 and then Daisy, but can there be a third that's a temporary show?
There could be. There absolutely could be. The world of creativity is, I mean, I'm always thinking of new concepts and how am I going to do a different show for people. Tomorrow night I'm doing a fundraiser at Missy B's for my AIDS Walk team, and it's a Broadway review called Broadway Baby, and I've got local theater talents performing in it, who I normally do not work with, but I love them, and we're always at the same different events. So yeah, I love that idea. I actually did a show last year called The Bucket Lisp, and it was Daisy's show, as if she had just gotten the news that she only had a few more months left to live, and what did she want to do for her last show? So that was, you know, that was a little concept that I did, and it was just the one time. I've only done that show once, but that is a show that I could take out on the road if I wanted to as well.
We actually have to wrap it up here, and I saw we haven't talked about agents or such, so if anybody has experience with agents or knows someone who does, Spencer's here to network afterwards, and I would like to leave with how else can the community help you today?
Word of mouth. Referrals. You know, well, Kansas City is such a great, flourishing community for the arts, so I would just encourage you all to check out more entertainment and drag.